I have a truly remarkable and heartwarming story to share with you. The Delimar Vera case. This is a story of a mother's unyielding love, a child's incredible survival, and a reunion that defied all odds. The Delimar Vera case took place in Philadelphia in 1997 and captivated the nation. It's a tale of kidnapping, mystery, and the power of a mother's intuition. Our story begins with Luz Cuevas, a devoted mother living a seemingly ordinary life in Philadelphia. One fateful night in December 1997, her world was shattered when a fire erupted in her home at 4410 Hurley Street, claiming the life of her 2-week-old daughter, Delimar Vera, who was only just born on December 5, 1997, to Luz Cuevas and Pedro Vera. Devastated by the loss, Luz mourned her baby girl, being told that Delimar had perished in the fire. Remains of the infant's body were never found, and police concluded that they had been incinerated in the flames. The official cause of the fire was listed as an overheated extension cord attached to a space heater. But something didn't sit right with her. Luz stated, "I couldn't shake this feeling that something was wrong, that Delimar was still out there, somewhere." Luz Cuevas' motherly instincts led her on a relentless quest for the truth. She started piecing together inconsistencies in the official counts of the fire, and her suspicions only grew stronger. Luz's determination led her to believe that Delimar might have been abducted, not lost in the fire. She knew she had to find out what happened to her daughter, no matter the cost. And then in 2004, after 6 long years of searching, a miracle happened. Luz attended a child's birthday party, and at this party, she spotted another child who seemed familiar to Cuevas, resembling not only herself, but also her other children who had survived the fire. Cuevas used quick thinking and told the young girl she had some bubble gum in her hair as a ploy to secure a few strands, which would then be used for a DNA test. Luz Cuevas was told that the girl's name was Elia Hernandez. The DNA test, however, revealed that Hernandez was in fact Cuevas' daughter, who had vanished from her house 6 years earlier. Carolyn Correa was the woman who had brought Elia to the party. How did Carolyn abduct Delimar? The day before the fire on December 14, 1997, in the late afternoon, Carolyn Correa went to Pedro Vera's home at 4410 Hurley Street in the hopes that he would fix her car's brake issues. She had never met Luz Cuevas before, and this was her first visit to their house. She informed Luz that she too had just given birth. So Carolyn came back the following day on the 15th and claimed to have forgotten her purse upstairs. After she left around 7 p.m., the fire broke out in the front bedroom on the 2nd floor. When neighbors started hearing screams, they saw Luz standing in the middle of the street yelling, "My baby, my baby, my baby!" So as neighbor Gloria Mojica and her son Jose Rosario ran inside and attempted to climb the stairs to save baby Delimar, smoke and flames raged from the home's 2nd-story windows. They had to quickly leave the house due to the smoke, even though they claimed to hear the infant upstairs. Jose claimed that he heard crying and attempted desperately to save the child, but was unsuccessful because he was overcome by smoke. Luz entered the room twice in an attempt to save her child, but she got burns on her face and was unable to find Delimar because she was not in her crib. According to different accounts, Pedro Vera claimed that after quickly arriving at the scene, he either heard about the fire through his partner Luz or his cousin, Carolyn Correa. The fire was extinguished after 14 minutes. Delimar's remains were never discovered, and it was said that the infant's body had been burnt to death by the fire. The night before the fire, cousin Carolyn visited the mother of her then-boyfriend, Andre Moore, and revealed to her that she was pregnant with his child and had given birth at home and had called the child Aaliyah in honor of the late musician. Delimar had to be taken into New Jersey state custody before the DNA test findings were made available. The baby was taken away from Carolyn when the results were available, and she was arrested on a $1 million bail, leaving her 3 children behind. Carolyn was brought in to submit a second DNA sample. She was charged with kidnapping, assault, and arson. Police claim that they were unable to properly explain why Delimar was ruled dead. Officers at the scene discovered bone pieces that they initially believed to be the baby's remains, but examinations later revealed that they were non-human. Several hundred pounds of debris from the demolished bedroom had already been deposited in the backyard when investigators arrived at the scene. They stated they had no reason to believe a kidnapping or arson took place. Cuevas was overwhelmed with joy when police informed her of the DNA test findings. She sat sobbing and shaking while repeating, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." After the reunion, Luz and Delimar faced a new set of challenges: legal proceedings, emotional healing, and the process of rebuilding their mother-daughter relationship. The 6-year-old girl would probably not be able to comprehend what actually happened to her, according to clinical psychologist Gillian London, who specializes in working with children. She only knew herself as Aaliyah Hernandez and was reared speaking English, unlike Luz, who only had a basic understanding of the English language. She was taken away from the siblings she thought were her siblings, from her grandparents who adored her, and now she had no contact with the woman she thought was her mother. Children can be extremely resilient, according to Professor David Messer of London South Bank University's Department of Child Psychology, and they may gradually realize that the person they consider to be their parent did something wrong. Luz had faith that they would overcome their current challenges and hoped that her daughter would accept her. She continued to refer to her as Aaliyah during the reunion, adding, "Little by little, I will call her Delimar." It never made sense, according to Luz, why Delimar wasn't in her crib when she rushed into the room to try to save her. She never believed that her daughter had perished in the fire on December 15th. The baby's window being found open despite the frigid temperatures just didn't make sense. Her suspicions grew because of the absence of any remains. When she told the firemen that she thought her daughter had been abducted, they reassured her that it must be your nerves. When Luz tried to investigate the situation, she was informed that she needed to hire a lawyer, which she could not afford. So Carolyn received a 9 to 30-year prison term after being found guilty of kidnapping in January 2015. She said that Pedro Vera, the baby's birth father, assisted her committing the crime while she was in court. She claimed that he gave her Delimar, and she loved the child as if she were her own, and that, "I truly believed she was mine." This was refuted by Pedro Vera. Carolyn allegedly had a psychiatric illness and thought Delimar was hers, according to the defense. Though more manipulative than delusional, Carolyn was diagnosed with depression, according to Judge Pamela Demby. The family's confusion was acknowledged briefly by Carolyn. Carolyn's thoughts turned suicidal shortly after she was imprisoned and she couldn't sleep. She started banging her head against the cell walls, and she was transferred to the medical facility and put on suicide watch. Her hallucinations of a wailing baby were both visual and audio. Aaliyah was Carolyn's biological child, according to forensic psychologist Elliot Watkins, who interviewed her for endless hours along with her husband, daughter, and mother. She was inconsolable, just wondering where her own child was when DNA tests were revealed that Aaliyah was not hers. Even paying $638 out of her own pocket for a different set of DNA testing, according to Carolyn's closest friend. Despite the fact that Delimar vanished from her crib upstairs while Carolyn remained downstairs, leading investigators to surmise that Carolyn had a helper, Pedro Vera was not home at the time. No one else could have been charged based on the available evidence. Oddly enough, this wasn't Carolyn's first time being found guilty of arson. In 1996, while working as a file clerk in a medical office, she set the building on fire, and she was found guilty in June 1998. Luz stated, "It was a long journey, but we found our way back to each other, and I wouldn't change a thing." So I checked Google, and there's a movie based on this story called A Little Girl Lost, the Delimar Vera story, that was shown on the Lifetime Movie Network if you want to check it out. If it was not for this mother's intuition and undying love for her daughter, this young girl would still be with her abductor. I cannot imagine this happening to me. I have a 9-year-old daughter, and to think of missing the first 6 years is unimaginable. I'm happy that this story had a happy ending, though, and the abductor is in prison where she belongs. So let me know in the comments if you think Carolyn's prison term of 9 to 30 years was fair.